our party has been through Betrayer's Rise, has met Alyxian through a vision, and I'm going to tell you what happened, so let's dig in. Welcome back, everybody. So first things first, today we are going to talk about what went well. And in this session, I feel like the vision and the scene with Alyxian itself went really well. It provided my party a lot of opportunity to get to know Alyxian a little bit and to ask him some very pointed questions, and I feel like that went really well. What could be better? I still wish my party would have explored a little bit more of Betrayer's Rise and felt a little bit more of the harm that Betrayer's Rise can offer, so that they felt it was a little bit more dangerous of a place. But such is life. Let's dig into what actually happened during our session. We left off last time with my party just entering the room with the giant wailing statue. So we picked up there. The party noticed again the pustules, and they spent a good amount of time trying to figure out what exactly was going on. So Trixie, our party's artificer, sent her little companion to go and check on the door. When it got close, we had to make a save and everything. So they realized real quick that if they get close to the statue, there's going to be problems. They spent a good little while trying to figure out what it was. Eventually, they shot one of the pustules and noticed that it did some harm. So like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's try and do that. So eventually, it took a good little while for them actually to destroy the pustule because it was a little bit off the ground, so my melee guys couldn't get it. But they did eventually destroy the first one, and then the floor lit up, signifying that, hey, you're on the right track. And what also happened is the door opened and then closed. My party's like, oh, that's weird. This is something that I added because I feel like they needed a little bit more combat in their lives. What happened was there was a couple of closets that escaped and they were invisible. My party's like, huh, that's weird. And then Jimmy gets attacked. Out of nowhere, this closet pops up. So they fight a few closets, take care of those, everything's fine. Then they go into like, okay, well, let's get another one. So they eyes on the doors, they attack the other one, the other pustule, and once it's destroyed, out come some shadow demons, and they fought the shadow demons for a good long while, and my party at this point was pretty exhausted, so after they got this one, the second portion of the triangle is lit up on the floor, they destroyed the third pustule, and the triangle on the floor is complete. It's all lit up, ready to go. However, they can't get through the door. There's a circle that has not been lit up, and it's pretty obvious that there's some sort of pendant or amulet or something that needs to go there, so they try the Jewel of Three Prayers first. That doesn't work. And the reason I added this section is so that my party would go explore a little bit more. They go upstairs and they explore a little bit. There's the hallway that has all the daggers that chicks back and forth. Trixie set a little disc, and they just flew across, so they don't have to worry too much about those. They find in the little alcove around the corner, they find the flame skulls, and they also find the amulet. So they get the amulet that they need, they think. They head back downstairs, insert the amulet into the statue. And at this point, I had, once the triangle, like they had lit up the entire triangle on the floor, I had the Curse of Torog no longer be a thing. They had defeated the trap mechanism. So they were able to enter through the iron doors, descend down into the hallway, and eventually find the prayer site of Avandra. We have the jewel from Iris is pulling her towards the center, going down into the crystal cavern, pulling her towards the altar. Eventually they get to the altar. Before they put the Jewel of Three Prayers on the altar, Iris offers up a little prayer to Avandra, just kind of like, hey, help us out here. Eventually she places the Jewel of Three Prayers on the altar, and they have the vision. Read it straight out of the book, everything's fine, and then they end up asking Alyxian a couple of questions. I think in the book it says you can have them ask 3. I let them kind of go for a little bit until I felt like things were getting stagnant, and then I cut off the vision with Alyxian. So they asked about where he was, what his goals were. They asked him a lot about Kael Morrow. Basically, he said, the city's been lost. I'm in a dark place with water. There's red. People are coming to try and steal the red. It's making me angry. Eventually, the vision fades, and my party gets blessings from Avandra. So we talked about this in the last prep session, I think, but Chozen got a crystal blade. Dmitri got the Cloak of Displacement. Iris, her jewel, gets its awakened state. Jimmy gets a moon sickle, which is a +1, which is pretty awesome. And then Trixie, I gave Rusty, her little companion, the Professor Orb bonuses. I did all of that because a few sessions ago they asked, why exactly are we doing this again? And plus I think it's a lot of fun for players to get magic items. Lots of rewards from Avandra. They look up and they see Aloysia. They believe that Aloysia is running this cult that is interested in Ruidium. They've kind of heard that thrown around a little bit. They don't know exactly what it is, but they see her up above and she's angry and she demands that they give her the jewel and tell her what happened in their vision. The party's like, I don't think so. And then from behind her come the rival parties. And immediately my party's like, hey, those are our friends. A little back and forth. Aloysia is trying to get the rival party to attack my party so that she can get the jewel. And she's like basically saying, I've hired you, I'm requiring you to do this. Dmitri and Dermot have a really strong relationship. So Dimitri's like, hey, please don't attack us. I had my player roll a persuasion check with advantage. Rolled really well. Dmitri looks up at Io and they have a quick conversation. Galsariad gets involved. Kind of a little bit of heated debate. And eventually Io turns to Aloysia and says, no, we are not going to attack these guys. They are our friends. I'm sorry. Aloysia gets really irritated and angry, storms off. They hear in the distance an explosion, crumbling down, and that is where we ended our session. I'm really excited to see where they go from here. My expectation is they're going to want to talk to the rivals for a little bit, and then Aloysia drops teleportation tablets to Ank'Harel. I'm going to have questions strongly suggest that they use them, and they can get help in Ank'Harel to figure out what exactly is going on, and maybe locate this hidden city, which happens to be underneath Ank'Harel. So we'll see how all that goes. We'll talk about that more in our next session prep video, but that's pretty much what happened. Kind of a shorter video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next one.